Hello everybody, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. We are going to be painting a beautiful floral painting today, and this one I've seen so many in exactly this kind of pattern and shape, but this one in particular was inspired by flamourbysonu, and I've just penciled out a rough guide for myself. This is by no means needed, but just so I kind of had an idea of where I'm going to paint the flowers and where I want my stem to be, I just graphed this out for myself with a pencil, but you can just follow along with what I'm doing. So I'm going to start out with my size 8 paintbrush, my Grumbacher, and I'm going to pick up green. I don't know the names of my colors, so you can honestly use whatever green that you want. It'll look uniquely beautiful and uniquely yours. I often just mix a bunch of random greens together. Trying to add a little bit more of like a lime green to this one. And I'm just gonna start out by painting the stem. So I have a rough guide for myself. And the stem is going to continue upwards and continue upwards again. So we're going to go back and adjust this quite a bit. But I just wanted that plotted out for myself, I guess you could say. So I'm going to switch to my size 1 by Winsor & Newton. And I'm tempted to actually start at the top, because then I'm less likely to smudge my progress. I'm adding a little bit of yellow in with my lime green, just to make it a little bit brighter. And I'm gonna paint on some leaves at the top here. Now I think this is meant to be like quite an abstract painting, so I'm going a little hyper specific here. But the brush strokes are very loose and without rhyme or reason, and that's, I think, what makes this look beautiful and effortless. I'm trying really hard to keep my brush strokes a little bit looser and more free-flowing and just not perfecting every little thing. Like if there's this white gap here or here, I'm trying to leave those gaps the way that they are. And I'm adding some darker green as it joins to the stem, maybe even some black to make it some parts a little more dramatic. And there are these cute little buds that are sticking out as well, in between all the leaves. So I don't even know, I don't think these are actually leaves. I think they're supposed to be buds. But there are like these tiny little circular things, which I'm assuming are buds, that are just coming out over like all around this stem. And again, I'm trying to keep nice and loose. So I just did a little close up there so you could have a better idea of what I'm doing with my brush. I'm going to quickly switch over to my quadruple zero when I'm adding these black details, because I don't want to go crazy on the black. Honestly, a lot of this doesn't really look like anything, but I really think that that's what's making this stand out, and what's adding beauty and uniqueness to it. So I really like that top part, how that turned out. Quite nice. We can always go back to that later, but the general shading is how I want it. Okay. So moving along. Trying to be mindful to keep the piece of paper in camera view. Sometimes when I get really into a painting, I just totally stop looking at where it is, like on the screen. Trying to keep this nice and loose. I'm gonna add some black. Okay. So the idea is to actually paint loosely and not spend an hour on one leaf trying to make it look like you painted it loosely, which is what I am doing here, but I'm not really good with the loose brush strokes. Like, I have not mastered them, and my paintbrushes, I know that I am being a little bit of a hypocrite here right now by blaming my paintbrushes, but they are so overused that the bristles just don't allow for the kind of, again, doesn't make sense what I'm about to say, but they don't allow for the kind of control that you need for loose brush strokes. What did I do? Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see if we can fix this. That got rid of most of it. Yikes, that was not ideal. Apologies for that, I don't even know what I was saying. Okay, so we're almost done the stem, at least how I want it painted, because then we can move on to the flower part, which is going to make or break this painting for me it is, because I'm not really like super great at flowers, so it's always a bit of a gamble for me. Sometimes I really surprise myself, and many times I seriously disappoint myself. Let's hope this is a time where I impress myself. So here I'm just kind of painting these, like the blossom part. This is where the blossom is going to come out of. Anyway, I can go over that later. So I just quickly switched my water out because it was very green, and I've learned my lesson one too many times not to try and paint other colors when your paintbrush keeps being dipped into green water. So this is when I truly wish I had Emma LaFay's skills at florals, because this is not gonna look how I want it to look, I have a feeling. I am trying to create these loose, and it's already not happening. Like, I don't want it to be so bright and so intense and just, I'm creating a circle, a very rough circle for my flower here. But I want the pigment to be very, very watered down. And I always have so much trouble doing that. Like this delicate blush pink is what I'm trying to go for. So this is going to be the first layer of our flowers on this plant. Oh, I don't even know if you saw that. I'm gonna zoom out so you can see the whole thing. So right now I've got like blush pink in there, and we're going to gradually go darker. Mine's still wet, which actually is kind of working to my advantage, because I'm achieving that look that I wanted without butchering the painting. Although it has spread too much to the outer portion, so I'm lifting that paint back up. Because I really do want it to be like a blush pink. So maybe we should let that dry before I do anything else. I'll prepare my color in the meantime. Okay, this color I have the name of, because this is a new color that I just added to my half pan, and this is called Permanent Pink by Artist's Loft. So this is like the cheap stuff at Michael's. And it works great. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You don't need expensive stuff. So I'm just using that darker pigment to try and apply some layers to this, but again, I don't think it's dried completely. So maybe we should wait a little bit longer. I'm really a fan of using my fingers a lot to blend lately. So rather than starting at the end of my petal and going inwards, I'm just starting in the middle and then pressing the outside of my brush down. And it's making that outline a lot less harsh. Whoops, that was not what we wanted. We can touch that up later with green, I guess. So I'm just going darker and darker with every single layer here. Oh, now I have pink on my Okay, so one thing I forgot to do is, like I want to add yellow to the center of these flowers. So I'm lifting off some pigment while it's still wet. Oh, I really like how that looks. I kind of don't even want to add the yellow, but I will. And I'm still not done with that pink. Like, I really want there to be these intense pink accents, but they just keep blending in with the rest of the flower. So I think I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. I am going to switch really quick to my size 1 here, pick up some black, and try to very gently just dot the outside of that center of the flower. Just gonna work on that green. Okay, I think I'm gonna let these flowers dry before I add any more details because everything I put on there just kind of bleeds into the rest. And I do want to start adding some really dark features. Okay, so I think this is a little bit more dry. It's still not completely, but I'll take it. I'm dotting the outside with that bright color. And I want some of that yellow. So when it's completely dry, that inside of the flower, I really hope mine is, because I'm getting tired of this, of using my hair dryer. Yeah, that's a lot better. I'm dotting the kind of inside circle portion with these black tiny dots, which is what I tried to do earlier, but then it just kept blending out. And I'm gonna do the same with yellow. And I need it to dry before I add the final touch to the inside of the flowers, but I'm in the meantime just looking at my stem, seeing if I can add anything else, but I really like how it turned out. Perhaps like something here, because this looks a little bit bare. So yeah, I guess I will. I will add one more bud or leaf, whatever, just coming out here. That's a little bit better. It fills it in a tiny bit more. So I think those insides of the flowers are dry. I'm taking a little bit of acrylic paint right now, and I'm going to dot the insides with these tiny white acrylic dots. I'll go a little bit closer. And, you know, once you're done these dots, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give this video a like. It really helps the algorithm, or helps me with the algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss any of my weekly tutorials. And I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.